Al Angelo from A Plus Racing, bringing you another exciting video to get your car on the front row. Hey, we've got this 91 Miata here. We call this the Rising Sun car because it's painted like the Japanese war flag. And we were at Laguna last weekend and the car was running a little hot, especially for Laguna. That's right by the ocean. So I decided to put a better radiator in it. It's got a really thin one that's been in there since I bought the car. I bought the car from somebody who was racing it before, and we painted it and that kind of stuff. And so it's got a really thin little aluminum radiator, ain't much to it. So I went ahead and I bought another eBay radiator here. As you can see, $129 or something like that. Pretty nice radiator, fully welded, got all the stuff that we need. So we're gonna put that in there. I've also decided to change out the thermostat and gasket, and then I'm gonna go ahead and replace the upper hose also while we're there. Okay, so those are what I'm gonna change. So let's not waste any time. It's July, it's really hot here in Northern California. I got my swamp cooler on, my microphone's not working, so I'm gonna have to try to talk really loud so you can hear it. My wife is filming, my lovely wife Mary, she's filming for us, so she's gonna stay in kind of tight on what I'm doing so you can hear it, okay? So this is a 1.6 car, an NA 1.6, and I know we just did the NB 1.8, and so you're gonna see some similarities, but there's a few little differences, all right? So let me show you the tricks, all right? And we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, we're on the front of the car. All right, so I'm gonna replace this radiator. I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm also gonna replace this hose, and I'm also gonna replace the thermostat and gasket, all right? So only thing I've done so far is I've drained the water. Yes, we only use water on race cars. We're not allowed to use coolant on the racetrack. So in the middle of the radiator, down at the bottom, there's a plug, and I took the plug out and I already drained the water. So we don't have any more water in here. So let's just go ahead and get started here. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo the coolant recovery hose. We're just gonna set that off to the side. And I wanna go ahead and loosen my clamps up. These are factory clamps, I don't like them, so we're gonna get rid of them. But I'm gonna pull this one back. Same thing on this side. They're kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but we'll win. Okay. Let's take this one off. All right. I guess we don't even have to take that one off. All right. And so I got this off, and I'm going to go ahead and unplug my fan right here. There's a button right here, so I just push the button, and then the fan comes unplugged. I know it might be a little difficult to see, but right here, there's a bolt, a 12 millimeter. So there's one right there, and there's one on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that 12 millimeter bolt. And I've got an air ratchet here, an extension. If there was a whole bucket of bolts, I can always pick these ones out. So they almost look like they got some kind of weird serrated edge right here, and they got a built-in big washer. So, all right, now this side. If I wasn't replacing the hose, I'd have to take that one off. Okay, so here's the other one. So I'm gonna set these two right here. All right, so now the radiator's loose, but what I do need to do is I need to raise the car, and then I need to take off the lower radiator hose. So let me do that right now. Here's the plug that I took out to drain it. So I'm going to thread that back in here. I mean, this is still a good radiator. Probably be good for street use. All right. So I'm going to need to undo the clamp. Big selection of screwdrivers, but all right. Okay, so we're going to do this clamp. And sometimes when these hoses get stuck on there, and you can't, now I just twisted it and it popped right off. But if I wouldn't be able to twist it and pop it off, then I would grab it with a big pair of channel locks. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this. It should all be drained, but sometimes there's a little residual. Okay, so we're good there. That was the only thing we had to do down here. I already have the cover off, so let me lower the car back down. Okay, so we're unplugged here. So it should just pop right up. Like that. Okay, let's go over here to the bench. Okay, there's a few things we're going to need off of this radiator. So I'm going to need to get me a 10 millimeter. Looks like it's got a couple broken bolts, so I need to get me a 10 millimeter, and I think that will be all I need. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take these two 10s off. I can see the other ones are broken in here, so okay. There's the fan. All right, we're gonna have to get a couple more of those. Not a problem. All right, you need to use these guys again. Okay, we need to transfer these to the other radiator. So if you look at, it's a E-clip. So you take a small straight screwdriver, and without losing the clip, flying across the shop, you take the clip off. I'm keeping my finger on it because I don't want it to fly across the room. All right. There's one. Keep that. Same thing with this side. I mean, you can get them at the parts store if you lost one, but it's a pain. Okay. All right. So we pretty much have robbed everything out of this radiator. Radiator side. Okay. Here's the new one. And we want to put these clips back in there. And sometimes I run into this problem where they're pretty tight fit. We might have to drill it, or let me, I think I'm getting it on in there. Okay. We're gonna have to bore the hole out a little bit. We'll be right back. All right. Very little bit. That one. All right, that one. Okay, good. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And then once again, I'm going to put my E-clip in there without losing it. I got it lined up. Clip. Just like that. Okay. This is a really easy job. Don't sweat it. If you're thinking about doing it for the first time and you're having nightmares about it, it's a simple, simple job. Follow these easy steps. Okay, another thing we're going to need to transfer from the old radiator is the rubber bushing that goes right here. So they're like right here, right? So there's a metal part in the middle, and then the rubber bushing comes out of there, like that. Okay, so let's put the rubber bushing in there. same thing over here. I know I haven't made a video in a while. It's summertime, I'm off school. We're actually at my house right now. This is my garage at home. We just built it so that I could work on cars here at home. Actually anticipating and retiring from the school. So, oh, you know what? I put these little metal guys on backwards. These go on the other side. Like that. Okay, let's go drop it in. So, if you're wondering what those little rubber bushings are for, I'll show you. You see right here? Can you get in tight there, hon? There's a little saddle right there. There's one here and there's one on the other side. And those little rubber bushings sit right on top. So I'm gonna drop the radiator in. I didn't put the fan on, but I can put it on when it's in the car. All right, and it sits, you watch that one right there, I'll get the light on it, and it sits just like that. Huh? Isn't that special? Yeah, it's special. Okay, all right, so I can go ahead and start my bolts that hold the radiator to the body right here. There's that one. And you see that rubber, that washer that went over the rubber bushing, that's to, that's what that bolt rides up against. Okay. Pretty nice radiator, $129. Finish the radiator off, and then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to do that thermostat housing and gasket. So let's go ahead and put the lower hose back on. So here's the drain on the new radiator. So you can see it's a pretty nice drain. Now let's go ahead and put this on. I want to make sure I don't have any kinks or anything like that in it. And I like to put these clamps to where I can get to it from this position. And the reason why is on the cover that goes underneath here, that covers all of this, there's a trap door. And that trap door is right here. Okay, so if I point that way, I can get to that lower hose through the trap door. All right, so we're gonna lower this down. We're gonna put the fan. I'm going to grab the fan. Okay, I also grabbed a couple more bolts. Let's see. This goes like this. Sometimes when they're thicker, they're a little harder to get around this, but we'll go ahead and take that hose down. fit that fan in there. Now we're going to get one in there. Okay, there we go. Hitting down here at the bottom of the radiator. There it goes. Let's start from the bottom. That seems to be where the hang-up is. Looks like that's where the hang-up is right there. And just to make sure that we're good, I'm going to lower it down and tighten up those top bolts before I tighten up the bottom. Switch to a hand ratchet. Just because I don't want to strip out the aluminum or break anything. So there's 4 bolts, and I started all 4 of them before I decided to tighten them down. That's always a good idea, because if you tighten them down, you could have a problem with lining them all up. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in my fan. I don't want to forget that. Okay. I'm going to hook this back up. And that's actually 10 or Phillips. You can use either one. Tighten the airflow meter back up. Okay, that leaves us with thermostat and those 2 bottom bolts. So let's get the thermostat off. Pull this out. It doesn't look bad. There's a lot of gummy stuff in here, but this might have been hanging up, and that might have been why it was running a little warm at Laguna the other day. So I've got like some gasket material left on here, and I got some left on here. So let me show you how to clean that up. I just use a 3M cookie. Okay. See if I can get it. If I can't get in here all the way, I'll have to use a razor blade. Most of it, we got just a little bit back in there, as you can see. You can see there's just a little bit right there, so I'm just going to use a razor blade. Sometimes just putting it flat and scraping it on that metal. And this is the groove the thermostat sits in. Good. All right. Don't put the thermostat in upside down. You'll have all kinds of problems. The new gas gum has some stickum on them, so it helps center it, keeps it from moving around. Okay. And then on the housing, I'm going to hit it with the cookie. Okay. Put a little, you see these bolts came out pretty rusted. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little grease on those, because I've seen those break off before. You guys back east know what I'm talking about. It seems like I see you guys busting them off back east all the time. All right. Oh, I'm gonna put that on there. The original bracket. Can you believe that? Look at this. The original bracket. All right. It's back on there. I'm gonna check those with hand ratchet just to make sure that Okay, I don't want to go crazy here. I got a gasket. All right, that looks good. So, like I said, we had this car out at Laguna and had an overheating problem. Hey man, I met some guys out there that had some really nice Miatas. I'll show you their picture at the end of the video, but I wanted to give them a shout out. They're subscribers to A+ Racing, man. They're brothers. All right, I mean they're our brothers. It was nice meeting them and seeing all the work they've done to their Miatas. Okay, so here's the new hose, and I got some different style clamps. Put that one on. Put this one on here. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm past this hump here enough to where I can get a clamp on there. So it looks like we're going to be pretty good here. If I could get on a little more, it'd be nice, but it's pretty tight. All right, so let's tighten those up. You know, that's the cool thing about going out for those track days, is that you just see so many people out there enjoying these Miatas. You know, I mean, I know they're kind of a cult following, but people buy them and they become friends, and you see them at the racetrack and they're tracking them and having a blast and comparing lap time. So here's that hump, and I want to go just on this side of the hump. I don't want to go way back here because that creates corrosion in there too. So I want to get right past that hump right there. That keeps the hose from blowing off, and it helps prevent corrosion buildup in between the hose and the housing. Okay, all right, that looks good. Okay, so we need to tighten up those two 10s that are under the car. So let's do that. And we're almost done. Almost done. My wife's sweating it out. It's hot. Alright. Okay, so we're going to hook up our coolant recovery tube. How nice is that? Alright. Okay. Do not put this on until the car runs for at least 10 minutes. At least 10 minutes, okay? Don't fill this up, put this on and think, oh, I'm good to go. It's gonna overheat, all right? Leave this off, fill it with water, let it run for 10 minutes. It's gonna go up and down, it might overflow, keep topping it off. When the coolant gauge reads in the middle of the gauge, or you see that the water is really hot right here, that means the thermostat is open and it's circulated all through. Then you could put the cap on. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with water. So I guess you don't need to watch me fill it with water. I'm going to fill it up with water. We're going to start it up, and then we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so it looks like we got it wrapped up. I filled it with water. I also topped off the coolant recovery bottle. And if you look here, you can just see steam is coming out of it. And that water is really hot. So that tells me that the thermostat is open and it's circulated through. The gauge inside the car reads in the middle. And now I can go ahead and put the cap on. Okay? So now I'm safe to put the cap on. The system is burped and we're good to go. All right. Shout out again to my friends at Laguna Seca, man. You guys had some nice Miatas out there. Hey, thank you for chiming into my channel. Subscribe. You're missing all these great videos. If you liked it and it was helpful, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you at the racetrack. Bye now.